You're supposed to know what you're doing, right?
Yes,
You're telling me it's my fault the plants are dead. I don't buy it. Looks to me like it's bad nursery stock.
It's not the stock, it's the drainage runoff from the new wall.
Well, if you knew there was a problem here, why did you plant them here?
You told us you wanted them here.
I told you I wanted plants here, but you're supposed to figure out what'll grow here.
How are we supposed to know what you're going to do?
Just forget the whole thing.
Let me talk to Lyndon about it.
Talk to whoever you want, flower boy. I'm not gonna pay for dead juniper. Which is what this is, dead.
If someone would send a letter to you, their initial letters are not harsh. They're not threatening. They basically just ask you to make the payment. And I feel that that's a good approach. It's just that Jeanette feels like, look, if they're 30 days late, they'll be 60. If they're 60, they'll be 90. We're going to send them a little note and tell them, get that money here. As a matter of fact, once Mother went behind my back to...
And wrote a letter that got the attention of the president of the company.
Yes, she did that. Mm-hmm.
Until the president of the company called her.
I'm saying, what letter? Oh, the letter you sent on such and such a day, not her. Mommy, did you, I'm putting it over the phone, did you send a letter? And that's when Mother whips it out, said, here's what you said. I said, oh, okay. Well, yes. So we were able to work things out, and though that might not have been my initial method, I was appreciative that Mother had taken that initiative, knife and all.
Business letters, memos, and reports are used to inform someone about something, explain something, or persuade someone to do something. Take a look at the workbook chapter on writing memos and letters for more information and exercises.
Really good writing can have a strong impact on many ways. Good writing will challenge, good writing can educate, and good writing can empower someone as well.
How'd it go at the Grand's place?
Well, I left before I hit him. That's a positive.
Raul, you have got to watch your temper around customers, man.
I thought we could talk it out.
And
I told him about the drainage problem, and he accused us of planting bad stock.
all right, how did you leave things with him?
He wants to forget the whole thing. He's never gonna pay us.
You know we gotta clear this up.
You know what? Maybe we should just take it all out like he wants. Yeah, I told him I'd talk to you again and we'd get back in touch.
No. Let's just write him a letter so we can get it all said without anger.
What is the point of writing a letter?
Well, that's the first thing you've got to figure out, Raul.
What's to figure out?
I would rather write something than speak it, because you can always go back and change around what you've written, and you can't do that when you're talking to someone. It would be nice if you could, but when you're writing, you're in total control of the mood that you want to set, the tone that you're taking, and the ideas that you're getting across.
I think now it's running close to about 10 years ago when I was in corporate America and thought that I was fairly settled where I was, and came to work one day and had a little note that said, come upstairs, talk to the new president that had just come into the organization, and walked into a room, and it was a long table, and he sat at one end and wanted me to sit at the other end, and I told him, no, I'm gonna sit right here. And so he very straightforward told me they're restructuring the hospital. They've made a number of changes, and one of them is that my particular job was now eliminated. After getting over the initial shock, you know, the initial pain of it all, and then I decided, I'm tired, and I'm not gonna go the rest of my life having somebody else in control of me and my resources. I cannot do that. So I figured that if I could take my energies and deliver a product to some business or some organization, I could take my same energies and deliver a product for myself. When I went through the Women's Self-Employment Training Project, their number one emphasis for any business is that you have to have a business plan.
Most workplace writing begins with a need. As you approach any writing task, it's helpful to remember the writing process. Focus on your purpose. Consider your audience. Choose your format. Gather facts and information. Write a draft, revise and proofread your work, and distribute it.
Okay, Robin, you tell me, how would you want this to be resolved?
I just never want to see the guy again.
Oh, come on.
Okay, he fixes the drainage problem, and we replace the plants.
There, see? Now there's a proposal.
Okay, so now what?
Write it down.
I suppose you want to see it before I send it in.
I sure do.
Writing in the workplace serves a purpose. There's a problem to be solved, a need to be filled, some information to be passed on. Focus on your purpose throughout your writing process.
Determining the purpose of what it is that I'm writing is really critical because the purpose is going to permeate everything that's in the written piece of work. For example, this brochure, the purpose of the brochure is to give information about services that we offer at a clinic. And if I am unclear about what it is that I'm trying to get across, I can't expect my reader to understand it.
The purpose of writing a business plan is number one, so that you can physically see and feel where this business is beginning, where you want it to be maintained, and where you ultimately want it to go. It is your blueprint for the growth and evolution of this company, period. When I initially sat down to write the business plan, I was writing it for me to make sure that at completion, this is something that I still wanted to do. This is something that I still had faith in. This is something that I still had excitement about. So I wrote it for Glenda first.
I'm the only one, as far as in the nursing department, that feeds into this computer. That's my job, is what I do. We got 14 days after a resident is admitted into this facility to come to this computer and feed in our information and print it out and get it onto the charts. The number one thing that makes it important is that it's how we take care of the resident. That's how we know the resident's condition. The state comes into your facility every year for a state survey. And when they come in, you better have them diagnoses on their MDS form, because that's what they mandate the facility to do.
Are you writing to your boss, a coworker, a client, a supplier? Who you're writing to may change what you say and how you say it. Your audience will influence your choice of format, how you distribute your work, even the words you choose.
Understanding who my audience is for a piece of work is critical to determining how I'm going to write and how I'm going to meet my purpose and get to my goal.
Anybody picking up this business plan, whether you have a financial interest in this company, whether you have a personal interest in this company, or you have a particular consumer interest in this company, i.e. your corporate ABC, and maybe you want to contract with this company in terms of providing services for some of your sales reps or whatever. This business plan will explain and will provide information for all of that.
I just got a voicemail message from Bloodworth. He got our memo about the Yippee Chew tagline. He wants to know what we made for the presentation. You know exactly what he has two of.
Okay, why are you telling me this?
He wants me to leave him a voicemail, and I thought you could help me figure out what to say.
Janice, I don't know what you made.
Well, I do. Warren gave me a list of what he made, and I know what I did.
Okay, well, why don't we write a draft of what you want to say?
A draft? Oh, okay, yeah.
Spoken words may not seem like writing, but even voicemail follows a format and leaves a record. Voicemail, email, and memos are usually used to communicate within a company. The format highlights who the message is to, who it's from, the date, and the subject. Communication with customers or clients often requires less casual formats like letters or reports. Longer reports may require additional structure for easy reading, such as a title page, a table of contents, a summary, or an appendix. Often the form your writing will take will be chosen for you, but when the choice is up to you, choose a format that's right for the task. Find a sample to follow and use it to help organize the facts you gather.
The business plan software that I purchased was basically a boilerplate for any business, whether you're Elon Private Coach or Microsoft. It didn't matter. It was so key because it breaks down every possible potential step that you may have to take in putting together your business. It helped to settle me, to calm me. It helped to manage my thoughts. It helped me to organize my steps. And it helped me to develop the particular areas for Elon Private Coach. You have a table of contents, which is part of the plan, so any particular area that they wanted to know more about or go right to, they knew exactly what page to turn to.
Sometimes you may be asked to contribute to a letter or report, or gather facts for a file. You may need to keep track of information from many sources and organize it in a way that makes it useful.
I talk to the resident, the family if they involved, if they come into the facility, the nursing assistants, the nurses, housekeeping, anybody who's involved with that person, I have to talk to that individual to get together all the data that I can to feed into this computer. I get input from all the nursing. I write it down on paper. Once I feed this information into the computer, then I check it off. That's just to tell myself, okay, this has already been done. This person is already done.
Okay, what do we got?
Maddie noticed a difference between the TV line This Doggone Hunt and the print line That Doggone Hunt. So I directed the staff to prepare 2 versions of all materials. I hope we weren't out of line, but we wanted you to be prepared at the presentation.
Okay, it's good, but do you need to say, I hope we weren't out of line?
Now, what should I say? It was the art director's fault?
Well, you don't have to blame anybody. I mean, Bloodworth just asked what you did, right?
Yeah. Okay, I'll lose it. Okay. We made a version of the board for the 60-second TV spot, This Dog, and another for the 60-second spot, That Dog. There were 2 30-second spots in the original request, which we prepared again with That Dog, making 4 30s. There was a 25-5 and 4 10s, which we again prepared both this way and that way. I don't know how to end it. It's so long.
What about, I hope this gives you all you need for the presentation.
That sounds good to me.
Whether it's a letter or it's a grant abstract, I like to make certain that my facts are in order. I find it's always best to not go simply on what someone else is saying. The reader's not going to go back to who I asked because they're looking at me as having the correct answers. So therefore, it's up to me to be absolutely sure that what I'm saying is true.
When you want to convince someone of something, facts are your best ammunition, so don't skimp. Gather all the facts. Take note of any information that may apply to your topic.
And I found through resources at the library and here on the internet that this is a huge market. I started asking cab drivers. I started asking other limousine drivers when I was at the airport. I started asking other small business owners, you know, who helps you with your bookkeeping, who helps you with your accounting.
When you write a draft, don't struggle over each word. Include a sentence that summarizes what you're writing about, and be sure to state clearly what action you want taken or results you'd like to see.
The first draft of my business plan was just that, a draft, okay? And it took me maybe 2 months just to do the draft. Because initially, starting out, you really don't know what is best to write. Basically, for me, I just wanted to get down ideas. I wanted to get down ideas, and I wanted to get down information flow. It took me all of 2 months to write it, but it only took me 2 or 3 days to pitch it and start writing something else.
How's that letter coming?
I don't know. It still sounds like I'm mad.
Yeah? Let me hear it.
Dear Mr. Grimes, you didn't inform us that you would be building a wall in the area where the juniper would be planted. We were not aware that a drainage problem might occur.
Okay, I see where you're going with this, but I wouldn't start off by accusing him first. I mean, you'll lose him before he even begins to read what you propose.
Maybe I could start with what we found.
Yeah, okay.
We made the problem worse by fertilizing plants in stress.
So even though he built the wall, you're still part of the responsibility.
Yeah, that's the
Go
point. We can replace the juniper with a shrub that tolerates wet feet, or we can consult with your builders about providing drainage so we can replace the dead plants with new juniper at no charge to you.
See, now that's what I've been waiting for, the solution. See, and you give him 2 choices, too. That's good.
I put that no charge in. You know. I figured it would be cheaper to replace a few juniper than to take everything out and not get paid.
All right, you're starting to think like a real businessman there, Raul.
When I'm writing, I really like to get input from other people. I feel that helps me stay away from that very focused, only one way to do it kind of approach. And I think that when I get input from others, it helps make me a better writer.
Good writing comes from rewriting. After you have a complete draft, read it over. Does it make sense? Is there extra information your reader can do without? Have you included everything you need to say?
I changed the part about blaming him for the drainage. Instead, I say, we found the juniper failed because of excessive moisture along the west wall. This problem developed after planting was completed.
That's much better. And I like what you added here about customer satisfaction. Please feel free to suggest any alternative if either of these options don't satisfy you. That's very good.
Well, I spell checked it. Is the grammar okay?
Well, it looks nice on the letterhead. I think it's ready, Raul.
We start identifying buzzwords. Buzzwords that are pertinent to a business plan in general. We want to make sure we use the word market. We want to make sure we use the word strategy is appropriate. We want to use vision and management. I start identifying buzzwords. Sometimes I would have to go and refer to some other business plans, see what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, then pick mine back out. One word, or let's just say 2 words together that we constantly had to go to, were the words market analysis. Funders always want to know, when was the last time you checked on your market? Do they still have the need today that they may have had yesterday? Oh, projections. Simple word, okay? But to bankers, it is everything. What are your projections?
I need to be able to get away for a little bit and think about it and think about new approaches, and I come back better. And I can do my writing in a better way, and I can explore different ideas.
The revision process for a business plan, it's going to be long, it's going to be detailed. But I would say that is going to be your testing ground right then and there. If you're going to be tough enough to continue on, because going over and over and over, it can get redundant, it can be frustrating, and you can very easily just put it down and never pick it up. So that'll be your proving ground.
When you're happy with your revision, have someone else read it over to see if it makes sense. Fresh eyes can often see something you might have missed. And don't forget to proofread it for grammar and spelling.
Even though we do have spell check on the computer, I rely like 1,000% on her keen ability to proofread, because spell check can't catch up with commas and quotes and wrong words, totally inappropriate words, that kind of thing. So, and it takes time to do that, but we made it through.
When you're satisfied with what you've written, send it out. Your purpose can only be served if your message reaches its target audience. So sign it, seal it, stamp it, however you do it, get it on its way.
Everywhere that business plan went, I went personally. It initially went to the Women's Self-Employment Project, 2 or 3 copies there. The second one went to Motor Credit, because the very first vehicle that I wanted, that's who was financing it. Though I had business plan in hand, I had pre-agreed contracts in hand, that meant nothing to them. They want to know, but where's your job? This is my real job. Well, young lady, one of the things that I might suggest that you do is maybe look at a used vehicle or come back after you get a real job.
It's very, very hard for women to get loans.
Yes, it is.
Just because you are a woman.
That's very true.
Yeah. Number one. And number two things, it doubles when you are a black woman.
Yes. Oh, well, I was saying that without saying it.
Yeah, I know.
I was
There's only
saying,
one way
yes.
to say it. Just say it.
I was
like
saying
it is.
that without saying it. Yeah. So I went to a resource that had been offered to me. So I went down one day before the loan committee. I had the accounting person here, who was all numbers. Then I had the person who's looking at the entire year's forecast. Okay, well, you forecast a surge here, and then you forecast like a decline here. Can you explain that? Then I had the marketing person. How are you going to market? Where are you going to market? Where's the money going to come from? How are you going to actually evaluate your marketing? So it was 6 people that I actually had to please.
The final step is to get it out to the people who are going to read it. And distribution, in a way, is like giving birth. At that point, you can just sort of sit back and take a lot of input. And I find that I always start thinking, okay, I'm going to have to do this again sometime soon. And what am I going to do differently? And how can I make this better?
Oh, did you hear the news? Bloodworth presented both campaigns.
Both?
Mm-hmm. This dog or that dog? You make the call.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not. The client wants to combine them. Bloodworth got the idea when he saw the memo. We're heroes, girl.
The next day, I got a call, and they asked me for 2 additional pieces of information. I can't remember specifically what it was. And then by 3 o'clock that afternoon, I got another call, and they told me the loan had been approved, and I could come down the next day, 12 o'clock, sign the papers, and pick up the check. So that's exactly what I did. I beat it down there the next day. As a matter of fact, I think I had Mother waiting for me, and the ink on the check wasn't dry. I'm fanning it, and I rushed right out to the dealer and picked up Miss Elana.
I got a call from Grimes today.
Oh, no. What does he want now?
All he wants our help in redirecting his drainage, so that we can replace the plants with whatever we advise.
So the letter worked?
Mm-hmm. He even wants us to landscape his new development over at Wood Point.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So that means I gotta talk to him again?
Well, I figured like that letter you wrote to him said that you were serious.
I feel like I gave it my best shot.
Well, you know what that means, don't you?
Yeah, I deserve a raise.
Well, maybe, Flower Boy, but first you have to help me write the proposal for the job at Wood Point.
Writing at the workplace is writing to get results. The more you practice writing on the job, the more you'll see the power of the written word. Develop a writing process that will help you express yourself in your work.
Words are really powerful, and what you say is really a little piece of yourself.
That business plan, when you finish it, it is a tremendous sense, it provides you a tremendous sense of accomplishment, because you have accomplished something. You've actually taken something from nothing and you have evolved it. And this is what's going to work for you. Now you've got your product and you can go on.
I feel that when I do my job properly, that I can really have an impact on someone else's life. And that is something that really can make a difference. And I go home knowing that I haven't just done something that's moved papers around for no reason, but when we've completed, say, an evaluation, when we make recommendations, those are things that are going to influence someone potentially for the rest of his or her life.
In being self-employed, you know, it takes a lot. It takes belief, it takes commitment, but it takes fortitude. And sometimes, depending on different circumstances, that fortitude can be broken.
Perseverance.
You know, absolutely, it does take it takes perseverance too. And so I just realized that in writing the plan, I'm going forward. There are going to be some challenges, but I'm going forward. I know I'm going to have a challenge maybe in marketing. I'm going to have a challenge maybe in research and development. I'm going to have a challenge maybe in advertising. I may have a challenge in finance, but I'm going forward because this is something that I want to do, and this is something that I believe in.
This is PBS.